Hello and thank you for joining us on Diaspora Connect. On the show, we champion excellence by spotlighting the resilience of Nigerian citizens, breaking barriers and making a difference across the world. We explore identity, origin and diverse journeys of Nigerians in the diaspora. I'm your host, Abosede Adeneo Aderemi. Let's get the show started with Diaspora News. The Nigerians in Diaspora Commission (NIDCOM), in collaboration with the International Organization for Migration, has commenced a review of Nigeria's National Diaspora Policy 2021 to strengthen its implementation. The meeting, held with key stakeholders in Abuja, focused on assessing progress, identifying gaps, and setting clear strategies for improved engagement with Nigerians living abroad. Chairman of NIDCOM, Abike Dabiri, stressed the need to move from dialogue to measurable outcomes, describing Nigerians in the diaspora as critical partners in national development beyond remittances. She highlighted ongoing initiatives, including the Diaspora Data Portal, National Diaspora Day, and plans for a Diaspora Economic Conference, while also calling for stronger legal frameworks, improved funding, and structured engagement systems. Representatives of development partners and lawmakers, including officials from the European Union and the National Assembly, described the diaspora as a vital asset driving investment, skills transfer, and global connectivity. They called for better coordination, improved data systems, and policies that maximize diaspora contributions, while addressing concerns around welfare, protection, and inclusive participation in national development. It's time now to connect you to your roots by checking out the following fun fact on our Did You Know segment. Now to our spotlight. Today on the program, we are focusing on bringing international environmental safety standards to Nigerian projects, the role of diaspora experts. And my guest is Olusegun Esan. Olusegun Esan is a New York-based environmental health and safety representative with extensive experience across construction, environmental monitoring, telecommunications, and public infrastructure projects. He specializes in hazard assessments, contractor oversight, regulatory compliance, community air monitoring, and workplace safety operations on major New York work sites. His expertise covers OSHA standards, HAZWOPA, confined space entry, gas detection, fire safety, and hazardous materials management. Olusegun holds over 25 professional safety certifications, including advanced fire safety training from Hostels Community College, alongside an MSc in Information Technology and a Bachelor's of Engineering in Electronic Engineering. With a professional background spanning both EHS and telecommunications engineering, Mr. Esan remains committed to strengthening safety culture, reducing operational risks, and protecting workers and communities across critical infrastructure projects. Olusegun Esan, rather, thank you so much for joining us on Diaspora Connect.
You're welcome. Good morning.
All right. You work in the field of environmental health and safety. Sometimes this could sound vague. What exactly does this entail and how important is it?
Yeah, safety is a very broad, field, which is very, very important. Like when people hear safety, many people just look at safety as, something that can be avoided, but across the years, there have been so many casualties in the construction field, house, different environment, different fields. But there's a need, OSHA bring this regulation in about 1971 due to the high injuries on work sites. So OSHA stands for Occupational Safety and Health Administration. So OSHA helps to avoid workplace injuries, death, for illness. So what the safety does is to avoid both human and environmental hazards across all fields, whether it's construction, whether in hospital places, whether the road network, schools, and different manufacturing organization. So safety is a very broad network.
All right. So it means you're contributing excellently, incredibly to safety of humans, protection of lives, and even property. So at what point did you decide that this is what you want to do? This is your calling?
Okay. As you know, my background was in engineering, electrical, electronic engineering from Madonna University. So I got to the United States of America in 2015. So over the years, when I saw like the construction, the landscape of New York, and I saw the high-rise building, I saw the road network, the bridges, and I looked at it and I saw the way people walk and in the different fields. So one day I was driving through Brooklyn and I said to myself, this is where I need to be. Like, so in 2001, fully, I joined safety. I started by doing air monitoring. From air monitoring, I went to confined space, air monitoring in confined space. And in 2022, I started safety fully with Department of Environmental Protection. I work for Colum and Joe. We were subcontractor with the Department of Environmental Protection. So most of our projects have been with Department of Environmental Protection. That's when I started safety fully, 2002.
That's
Sorry,
amazing.
2022. I'm sorry, 2022.
Yeah, 2022, yes. That's fine. And that really is great, moving through different arms, different specializations, or as it were, in safety. But for you, you mentioned that you moved to the U.S. in 2015. Is that what you said?
Yes.
Yes. So how was it? First, what inspired you to move? And how was it settling in at that time?
Okay, yeah, 2015, I was working with Lagos State Government, Ministry of Science and Technology. I was deployed to Jerome General Hospital as the head of ICT. So, in 2015, I was just like, okay, can I just go on vacation, like, United States of America? So when I got here, like, I was supposed to use like maybe 2 weeks. So I met different people and, when I look at the environment, how people behave, like so one of my friend, a lady, she advised me to stay, I was still hesitating. So when I stayed, and from then I started building my life since 2015. I worked in different field before safety. I've done electronic management system in hospitals. I've worked as a school teacher here in America. I've worked in some field before, settling 100% with safety.
All right. And how would you say that your background in Nigeria prepared you for these challenges that you have dutifully carried and delivered?
Okay, my background, luckily for me, I was a science student, because I went to Federal Government College in Ikerun, Osun State. So I was in science class. I studied chemistry, physics. So whenever I hear some kind of like when I'm doing like air monitoring, talking about hazard, oxygen level, H2S, carbon monoxide. I'm familiar with all these terms because as a science student doing both organic and inorganic chemistry, so I'm used to all this. And in physics too, the calculation, my engineering background in electrical electronics has really helped me because sometimes in safety, there are electrical safety, there are different aspects of safety that are encountered, even the civil, the different fluid mechanics. It has really helped me. My background in Nigeria from science student in Federal Government College, Ikirun, and studying electrical electronics in Madonna University in Anambra.
All right. And from experience now, and with the benefits of hindsight, based on what you witnessed, what you saw, what you experienced while you were in Nigeria, and you know that in recent time, not just in recent time, every now and again we hear about a building collapse somewhere. These stories are really just so, they are really just tiring, as it were. What do you think is wrong? What are we not doing that has brought us to this point? And how can we get to that point where we entrench and ensure that safety is paramount and that we will maintain standard?
Well, first of all, when you come here, if you look at the buildings everywhere, whether it's a government project or private project, there's a standard. There's a standard. We have organization that monitor the standard. We have the EPA, we have OSHA, we have Department of Building, DOB, monitoring standard across all field. Here you will see safety first. In everything we do, you hear safety first. But what I noticed in Nigeria that safety is oversight. Like people undermine safety. People don't really worry about safety. You see somebody walking about 12-story building without using a fall protection. Some people hardly use the ad art. So people, the PPE, that's private personal protective equipment, people hardly use them. The thing is that in Nigeria, we just use oversight. Most people believe spiritually for God to protect them than even, first of all, using their own brains and using their own, mind to carry effective work practices. So what I discovered in Nigeria that safety is just undermined, and people look at it maybe is like, the normal side that okay, safety is not really important. But what the difference in Nigeria and here is that across all field here, there is safety in all field, whether you are rigging, you are digging, as little as one crew, it could be like two guys working, they require safety across all field. So in Nigeria, to me, like I just believe that safety needs to be really enforced, not only in the oil field, because I believe that those guys working in the offshore, onshore, they are always, I know the safety is always implemented there, but across all field, safety should always be implemented. I think that will really help us.
All right. And how do you think that Nigerians in the diaspora, like and your colleagues out there, can actually support such that we are able to make this a sort of is a policy document to ensure that no one can build, no one can take on projects without putting these safety measures in place?
Yes, thank you for that. Because I believe, and the funny thing is that in Nigeria we have these ministries. In Nigeria we have Ministry of Environment, Ministry of because I work for Lagos State, and across I know we have Ministry of Environment, and right here too, the people enforcing the safety to Department of Environmental Protection. So the people environmental protection, like in Nigeria too, you cannot be having building not only by like the document needed to build, but they have to enforce that in each site They have to be like safety officer, compliance officers, inspectors, not just inspectors looking at documents, but inspectors looking at the material used to build houses, the standard, the protocol, because for each material used, for each equipment, there's always standard manufacturer advice, even the people using it, the advice and the environmental protection too. They have to be like monitoring the atmospheric air monitoring in environment. So what I believe that in these ministries, I don't know for some other states, I know definitely for federal government have to set a standard for environmental protection, for building in the marine, in different fields. So that's my own.
All right. I believe that we would be able to take this up such that we don't have these unnecessary loss of lives and resources as a result of failure to pay attention to details and standard. But then, Mr. Esan, if you were to speak to your younger self, maybe 15, 20-year-old Olusegun Esan, and for people who are out there in Nigeria who just seem maybe tired, weary, they don't know what to do, they're ambitious, yeah, but then they are just somewhat discouraged. What would you tell them?
Yeah, definitely. Looking at the environment, people will definitely be discouraged. But I would just say keep pushing. Just like me, in my primary school days, I have to step back two classes because I wasn't doing well. So I wasn't doing well. Whether you are at the stage where you are, 20 years ago, I was still in my 20s. Although I was close to my final year, I was close to graduating. But what I would tell people that no matter the situation where you are, whether you are feeling discouraged, you have to keep pushing, because at the end, there is always light at the end of the tunnel. No matter how the country look like, you just have to have you have to be optimistic at all times. So, and another advice is, at any given time, you should be open to doing some certification. Be open, even if it's not your field. Sometimes you don't know when you will need them. You have to encourage yourself, do whatever it takes to improve yourself academically, and it will, and personally, it will definitely pay off at the end.
That's incredible. And what do you miss the most about Nigeria? Perhaps 3 things you can share with us on the show.
First of all, I would say congratulations to me being an Arsenal fan. I love football. And yesterday I missed Nigeria, especially in a place where I watch football around Ikosi. Ikosi, there's a place we write on the wall. They said Ote is allowed. I missed that, the banter, the now I won yesterday. I was only talking to my friend. They don't understand. Like, I missed that football. Then I missed my I'm a redeemed member going to the camp. I miss that so much, I miss that. And I miss the accessibility to people that I don't even need to call them to visit. I miss that. I can't do that here. I can't just come to people's house and just say, hey, I'm at your place. Oh, people's schedule are very different. So those 3 things, those are things I can say I missed in Nigeria.
And I thought that the food was going to be part of it. Don't you miss the food too?
No, I live in New York. The world live in New York. I don't, even when people go to Nigeria, I don't really tell people, oh, bring this for me, because most of those things are here. Like, they are here. It might be a little bit expensive, but they are here. Like, we have African restaurant, African food, suya sport. In New York, I don't know about any other state. I don't know any state, but me in New York, I've been in New York. I'm not planning to leave New York. I've been here. I have my house in New York. So I don't even plan at all to leave, because everything
New York has been good to
I
you.
feel the Lagos in New York.
All right, but then just be sincere. Does the abula taste the same? Does your ogufe taste the same there?
Yeah. I won't say the same. I won't lie. It's not really the same, because of maybe the breeds of their goats here. But although, of course, of course, the culture, you can never miss like Ibadan, Abala Ibadan, or Shita in Surulere. You can't, of course, you can't, You can't do that. You can't compare with that one here. No, never.
It's been so great talking to you about this, and especially reflecting on those. And when you talk about Ikosi, I'm also just thinking about all of those spots around Ikosi and the vibe, that you have around there. I'm glad for you. I'm happy that, you're working in this path and that you're doing well. And then as we wrap up the show, as we wrap up this interaction, Mr. Esan, as an individual, what are you planning to do back home? Or what are you doing already back home to ensure that you sustain legacy, you leave a legacy behind?
Okay, personally, in New York, I can see what the city is doing in New York City. I can see how this is not even about safety. This is about the shelter, helping the homeless people. I've been praying to God. If I have like the kind of money I'm looking at, I plan to have like shelter for people 100% free, like having shelter, helping the homeless. Every time we watch the news, checking Instagram, the news across the hopelessness, like it gets to my heart. So personally, my plan is to have like shelter in different places. Especially, I'm from Malaysia. I live in Lagos. I plan to have in Lagos, Osun State, and maybe for my wife's state too. My wife is from Imo State. So I plan to have a shelter in those three locations. That's for me, that's my plan. And then in the aspect of retiring, I plan to be like a lecturer or a professor, I don't know, retire in Nigeria to bring all my expertise from here to Nigeria.
Indeed, and we'll look forward to receiving you at that time. And I hope that I can speak with you in the near future and hear of the exploits that you're doing, especially, with these aspirations that you have about giving back to Nigeria. Thank you so much, Olusegun Esan, for your time on Diaspora Connect.
Anytime, any day, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Seriously, bye.
Wow, what a conversation we've had there. As we wrap up the show today, here are 3 key takeaways. 1, keep pushing. 2, be optimistic. And 3, get certifications, as many as you can. You never know when they would come in handy. Until the next time, keep exuding that glow of a true Nigerian. I'm talking about the unbeatable Niger spirit and DNA. I'm Abosade Adeniyi Aderemi. I will see you again. Bye for now.